Hey, welcome back to the Safe Space podcast about honestly anything. I'm your host, Britt, and today we're getting into something real. Setting boundaries and protecting your peace. This one's not about being petty. It's not about cutting everyone off. It's about choosing yourself in a world that constantly wants access to you, even when you're empty. So, let's talk about it. What protecting my peace really means. Let me start by saying this. Protecting your peace is not always pretty. It's deeper than just bubble baths or lighting candles and drinking wine or, the surface level self-care. But sometimes protecting my peace, it means confronting the truths that I've been avoiding. And that may be realizing a friendship isn't mutual, accepting that a relationship or a job is no longer serving you, or even admitting that you were the one holding yourself back. Because we can't always blame other people for disturbing our peace. Sometimes we are the problems. It's also choosing silence. The best thing that I can do for my sanity is to just not respond. Not every action needs a reaction. And I've realized sometimes you want to get your point across to everybody, and then it turns into an argument, and then the argument is just going nowhere. So why disturb your peace? If you're arguing with somebody that says 8 plus 8 equals 10, you know what? That's your perspective. 8 plus 8. If you think that it equals 10, then that's what it equals. I am not about to go back and forth trying to prove something when I know that I'm right, just because somebody might be hard-headed and don't want to accept the truth from you. So I've had to learn to just, if that's what you think, that's what you think. I'm not about to just keep stressing myself out because you just have a different perspective than I do. It's also putting me first unapologetically. Peace means not shrinking myself to make others comfortable. It means choosing me even when it makes other people uncomfortable. Sometimes it's like saying no to people you love. It can be walking away from something you prayed for, but it no longer serves you. It's unfollowing, muting, declining invites, and not explaining a thing. No is a complete sentence. It doesn't always need an explanation. And when I realize that, I can say I've had so much more peace because I don't feel like I have to go above and beyond to explain my reasoning for why I don't feel up for doing something at that moment, or I just need to be to myself for a little bit, and that's okay. You should not feel like you're the problem just because you are saying no. Protect your peace, all right? Some of the hardest truths that I've had to also accept when I started setting these boundaries and protecting my peace is that not everyone will understand the new version of you. Some people only liked you because you were easy to access, or you were easy to manipulate, or easy to keep silent. And sometimes you were the one that was disrespecting your own peace because, again, what you tolerate is what people will continue to do. Whew. That was a lot. That was a lot at one moment. But again, I'm just here to help you with protecting your peace and showing different ways that I've had to learn how to do it. All right. So how also I've done it? Real life boundaries that I've had to set. Boundaries sit different in every area of life, but I've learned these the hard way. Going back to saying no. Declining a favor from family does not mean that you love them any less. It just means that I'm choosing myself in that moment, and that's okay. With friendships, I've had friends who've only called me when they needed something, or I've had friends who've never checked in unless I did. And at some point, I had to stop forcing the connections because it did not feel mutual. And that's okay. People grow apart. That's part of life. It's not necessarily anything you did, but you're also realizing your value and your worth. So you have to be okay with limiting yourself or having that space in between, just because you're just not in that moment of life. You two probably don't need to be with each other. And again, when I say that, I'm not talking about just like relationship wise, but friendship wise too, you know? And then even with work, not every email needs an immediate response. I don't need to prove my worth by overextending myself. And I can close my laptop and be done for the day without guilt. And now working from home, that does sometimes makes it harder, because I feel like I'm at home. I have to be like hyper focused on that one thing that I'm doing, or respond to every email just to prove that, I'm actually being active and I'm working. But I've realized that even if I was in the office, I'd be doing the same exact thing. I'm responding to emails that coming in, but I got to also step away. So even when you're at home, it's okay to step away. Close the laptop for a little bit. Go take a little 15-minute walk or whatever you need to do. Whew. Again, I know it's a lot. It's a lot, but this is things that's been on my heart that I just feel like it might help and touch somebody else. Now, the fear of disappointing people and having people-pleasing habits. I would a lot of times overextend myself just to avoid disappointing people. And even when I was already running on empty, I would still say yes and do this, do that. I've learned, again, that I just have to say no. If you don't say no, people won't know, like, hey, you're tired, you're burnt out, you need a break. They're just going to keep coming to you because you're always saying yes. And you will start to build up animosity towards people, even though it's not their fault necessarily, because you're the one that's allowing it. You're the one that's not saying no. So for me, I just had to learn how to say, you know what? I can't right now. I can't help you at this moment. But then also, like I said, going back and over-explaining choices, I felt like I had to justify everything, whether it was just no or I need a space. But again, you don't have to do that. No is a complete sentence, so just keep it there. If you feel like you want to go and explain further, go ahead, but don't let them pressure you or make you feel guilty just because you said no. There's probably 1,000 other times you said yes, but this one time that you said no, that's for you. Being the go-to for everyone. A lot of people would come to me for everything, and I rarely felt that I had space left to just check in with myself and be me. And that guilt and that creeps in when you start creating that distance and you finally say, I'm not okay with this anymore. I felt that a lot, but here's the thing. You are not responsible for other people's reactions to your boundaries. They're allowed to feel how they want to feel, and you're still allowed to protect your peace. That's not selfish. That's just necessary. And how I'm currently protecting my peace today, it's a couple of quick things that I've started doing. And one of the biggest things was going to the gym. When I feel stressed out or anxious about something, I'll get up, go work out for a little bit with a lit playlist, and I feel so much better afterwards. I check in with myself before I say yes to anyone or anything else. Like, do I really feel comfortable with doing this? Am I in the right headspace to go to this event? Like, do I just want to chill and be to myself? You have to do those mental check-ins just before you up and say yes to people. I spend time alone, not because I'm necessarily isolating myself, but because I'm just recharging my battery. I used to say that I was introvert, and I've realized I'm not really an introvert. I'm an extrovert, and I just have some introvert tendencies. But I do sometimes need a moment to just recharge, refocus, recenter myself, and then I'm good to go. I've stopped trying to fix people. That is not my job. I cannot fix a person, especially if they do not want to be fixed or help, or if they're not acknowledging that they need it. I can't do the work for them. And once I realized that and I stopped trying to just fix everything and make everybody happy, I felt so much of a burden lifted off of my shoulders. And another thing, I give myself grace when I backslide because I'm human. I am not perfect, nor do I try to be. You have to give yourself some grace and understanding, or else you'll end up spiraling and just harboring on that one mistake where you don't even acknowledge all the goods that's been done or that you are doing because you're too busy focusing on that one thing. Again, we're human. We are not perfect at all. We are going to make mistakes, and you have to give yourself some grace for that. And in the end, peace might look like going to the gym. It might be being in solitude at times, or checking in with yourself, not always fixing people, giving yourself grace. But for someone else, it may be being around a group of tight-knit friends, or even journaling at night. There's no one size fits all. Protecting your peace is going to look different for everybody. Now, some people might identify with the ways that I've had to protect my peace or the things that I've realized that was disturbing my peace. So I encourage you to ask yourself, what's been disturbing your peace lately? And what would it look like to let that go, even if it was just for a little bit? Now, if this episode spoke to you, I just want to remind you that you don't own anyone access to you at the expense of your peace. Boundaries aren't walls. They're doors with locks, and you get to decide who comes in and who doesn't. So thank you for tuning in to the Safe Space Podcast. I hope this episode gave you something to think about, or at the very least, permission to put yourself first and protect your peace by setting those boundaries. I'll see you in the next episode. Stay grounded, stay kind, but most importantly, stay true to you. And I'm out.